shave and a haircut, I'm fat. And thus bizarro week and a half comes to its inevitable conclusion. I ordered these on August 29th, 2017, and here it is, September 12th, 2017. So I've had about 2 weeks, almost said 2 years. I've had about 2 weeks to chew on the decision for these. And these are the primary reason why I called this whole thing Bizarro Week. Or was it Strange Week? I think Bizarro Week sounds better. I totally forgot to look at the footage from the other video, so whatever. What's ironic is that this whole thing started with these. The Seiza Blaster and the... what was the other thing I got? I'm totally blanking right now. The Seiza Blaster and Geiki Bat and the Gamma Gamma Gun, or Gamma Gamma Ju, I guess is what it's called. Those were actually ordered like days later, but for some reason they all came in first. So it's just kind of, this is both the start and the end of Bizarro Week and a half. And so I've had time to chew on it. I'll admit, I'm not quite as beside myself now as when I was when I ordered these things. And this, I'll say now, this was very much an impulse buy, both of these things. You'll understand as I open them up. The anxiety is real. What the hell? I've got the fan on, it's nice and cool. The sun actually came out about 15 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden I'm sweating. I'm like, what the hell? Oh yeah, anxiety because of this. Let's get it out of my system. This took a really long time considering it came all the way from New York. This came from New York and it took 2 weeks to get to me. It said like September 5th to the 12th. I ordered it on the 29th. And it was literally the last day of expectation. I'm like, jeez, why would it take 2.5 weeks to get to me? Shrug. This is such a bizarre moment for me. It's not like I haven't gone back on things I've said before. I mean, I'm only human. I can only, hold my standards so high. But this calls into question one of the benchmarks of my entire collection. One of my standards. And I said it a moment ago that this was very much an impulse buy. Well, it is an impulse buy, but in a very bizarre way. I actually thought about it for about a week and a half. I don't even remember what planted the idea in my head, but I just kind of, I'll just go look at some reviews of it. And then I just started getting this strange sensation of, I want one of those? Do I wait, whoa, why would I? No, I'm not getting that. Am I? I equate this feeling to the way I felt would have been 5-6 years ago, I think at this point. Yeah, it would have been about 2011 when I made the decision to get the DX Daikaio and the DX Mogyu Dio from Shinkenger. At the time, I was still against getting them. No, I don't want them. Yeah. And I'd said that for 2 years. 2009 to 2011, I said that. 9/11? Please, Jack. Just... Anyways, I had this internal monologue with myself where I just sat there and just... It took a reevaluation of my opinion of the Shinkenger mecha system for me to eventually come to the conclusion, come to the second conclusion okay, maybe these aren't as bad as I was letting on. And it wasn't that I was trying to prove to my audience on collectiondx.com and by extension YouTube. This was before I created this channel, by the way. It wasn't that I was trying to prove, well, you know, once I said, I mean it, nothing could change my mind. On the contrary, I'm a Libra. I change my mind all the time. Indecision's a big part of my life, unfortunately. Having Asperger's syndrome and being born on September 23rd, bad combination, really bad combination, because the gray area is something that people with Asperger's hate, but then the gray area is something that Libras dance with on a daily basis. So you put those two together and it's just, what is my life? So, and I actually wrote to an email to Josh Bernard at Collection DX, creator of Creative CDX. I wrote to him and I said, you know, I had an ironic smile on my face, and I was writing, and I'm paraphrasing because, God damn it, I didn't keep the original email for some stupid reason. I said, mark this down on your calendar. This is the day that this is the day that one of your senior reviewers lost his mind. Is what I wrote to him, and then I laid out my case and I said, can I do the reviews for Daikaio and Mogyu Daio? And I wasn't expecting a what reaction from Josh. I wasn't expecting that. Just, it was either going to be a yes or a no answer. So, you know, it was a risk. I probably would have gotten Daikaio anyways at that point. Mogyu Daio would have been the more difficult one to swallow, just because it was so damn expensive. It was like $125, $130 for, you know, this big piece of shit. Big block of plastic with 2 electric motors and very little transformation. Actually, no, I had one transformation. You fold open the face. That's it. That's literally the only transformation on it. That's it. All the rest is part swapping. So, jumping ahead to last month, end of last month, I had a similar reaction to this thing, where I looked at it, or again, I don't remember what triggered it, but something told me, why don't you get one of these? And then my second reaction was, what the fuck? And I danced, and just, I chewed on this. I crossed my arms for about a week, and I'm like, what is going on here? Why are you, the back and forth internal monologue and arguments started going back and forth. And then, on what I would call an impulse, I went on eBay and I got it. What's this dialogue about? Why are you, what are you so worried about, Ava? Well, oh my God. I'm worried about the fact that I already got one of these, hated it, and then sold it. I can't remember who I sold it to, but I sold my original one, which, by the way, I got for free as a sampler for collectiondx.com. This time around, this is my money being spent on it. This is my choice. What the fuck am I thinking? To be clear, the video review on YouTube for Collection DX's channel was a re-upload because, you know, copyrighted music. But the video is still on there. Technically, it is still on there. It's just the copyrighted music and video clips have been removed. Roughly removed. So, round 2. Ding. And it came in box. I want to say it was Hobby Link Japan that I got it from originally. I'll tell you one thing for simple transformations. It means there's fewer risks of shit happening. Let's see. Pinch your fingers when you flip the head around. Pinch your fingers when you snap Gosei Snake. Pinch your fingers on the heels when you flip them around for transformation. I read that, what, 6 years ago. What am I doing? What is wrong with me? Am I that bored? The quality of the plastic was never a problem. You know, I did this 20-minute monologue at the end of the video. You can go watch it. You know what? I'll discuss it when I get out of the package. Give me a moment. For a second there, I thought the neck had been left back in New York. A little dusty. Just a little. But I wouldn't expect any less. I hope that somebody else wouldn't expect any less when you know, inevitably I start selling off my collection. Not anytime soon. I've reached something of a crossroads in my collection, not related to Bazaar Week, so this is killing time. I've reached something of an impasse when it comes to my collection. Not that I haven't seen it coming, but I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Looks a little darker than I remember. Smoke-free house, as they promised. Anyways. Make no bones about the fact that I still live with my parents in a bedroom that I've occupied for 26 years. Correction, 25 years. This is actually part of an addition we added to the house after we moved here. But anyways, I've reached a point in my collection where I've kind of nothing. I'm very nearly run out of space for places to put all these wonderful bits of plastic and die-cast metal and whatever screws are made out of. And springs and PVC, and I've run out of space. I've got bookshelves. I don't know where they came from, but I've got bookshelves that are, some of them almost as tall as me. And I'm having to fess up to the fact that I'm running out of space. It's not that my collecting days are, let's see, I'll do it this way. It's not that my collecting days are coming to an end. On the contrary, I still collect. I mean, I'm still following Q Ranger. I'm anxiously awaiting the arrival of the Orion Battler. I mean, we still haven't seen it. It was announced a number of months ago, and we saw one picture of it, but we never saw the full picture. Very strange, that. Not tied to Bazaar Week, but it is pretty bizarre. Still following Q Ranger. I'm doing this. Collected a couple things from the Ninja. Finished off Geki Ranger, almost. I still want that Geki Tonfa. So I'm not done with collecting. Now the obvious answer would be, oh, Ava, why don't you just move out of your parents' house? You know, that might solve your problem really easily. Well, it would in a way. And the other thing, I keep the boxes. Mostly the ones, the reason for it is, and this goes all the way back to 1993 with the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. Nowadays it's called the Legacy Megazord. I think they called it the Dino Megazord for a short time in there. or the Mighty Morphin Megazord. Anyways, keep the boxes, keep the packaging. These, only showed up in the last 7, 8 years, last 10 years, whatever. Because I like the look of the boxes. Regardless of what I'm buying, I do like the boxes. But 26 years of collecting has ultimately led to a bedroom, which is what this is, filled to the brim with, well, almost filled to the brim, bookshelves lining 2 of the 4 walls, and I've got Transformers animated over my head. I've got Bo-Rock and Bo-Rock Cal and Makuta over there. I've got, what do you call again? That Ultimate Bayformers Optimus Prime over there with his backpack. A bunch of accessories set aside, even though the box says you can stack everything on him. That's a bullshit lie, by the way. Believe it or not, the majority of my Transformers, with the exception of animated and kind of a mishmash, I've got, it's not Legacy, it's Classics and Armada and Generations right there. Got a whole set of different Optimus Primes right here at shoulder level. With the exception of those, majority... Oh, and then I've got the 2 Planet Formers, Primus and Unicron. They're sitting up above my desk over there. With the exception of those, all other Transformers I've got, G2, Cybertron, Bayformers 1, 2, bits of 3. It's not Legacy, it's Classics and Generations. Majority of those are actually stored away in, or shall I call them, IKEA drawers that you pull out, and they have handles on them. Majority of them are hidden from view, and they're not exactly stacked. They're just kind of dumped on top of each other according to series. I've got Metroplex, Generations Metroplex, which nowadays I guess it'd be Titans Returns Metroplex, since it came out earlier. He's standing right next to my computer monitor on my desk. And I've got Fortress Maximus Reissue. Is it Reissue? Something like that. I've got Fortress Maximus Reissue standing guard next to my bedroom door. On the floor, by the way. Kind of an undignified spot for the greatest of all city formers. I've run out of space. Long ago, I made the decision to display my collection in the open. If I had more shelf space, yes, all those Transformers I just mentioned would also be up on shelves as well. But I've heard from a number of collectors over time that you really only have 1 of 2 options. Either A, you can throw the boxes away, or 2, you can preserve the boxes by storing the collection inside them, and then have the boxes on display, or have the boxes up in your attic, or I'd advise against the basement because flooding. I could, and I've often talked about over my right shoulder here the walk-in closet that is not a walk-in closet. Well, that's because it is literally filled to the brim. It's almost blocking my dresser drawers to the point where I can't even get in them. That's kind of the only space I've got any room for anymore. I don't know if I don't. Ava, is there a question in here? Well, not necessarily. I'm just thinking out loud, killing time, as it were. I don't know if I should abandon the toy shelves and just go back to storing them all in boxes, and then if I want to pull one of them out and play with it, well, then I have to, you know, do the Jenga thing. You take you take the block from the bottom and you put it on top. You take a block from the bottom and you put it on top. You know, that whole shit. Or you do it very carefully. It's a strange... I'm not against storing in the boxes. On the contrary, it keeps the dust off of them. It prevents sun bleaching from happening. Now I've got blinds in here, so when the sun does shine through, it doesn't shine directly through because the blinds are closed. Dice Battle-O. I remember that. This is back when they were promoting an arcade machine that looked like Idiotic. They tried and it disappeared after about 2 years. They were trying to market on the whole collecting card gimmick, and you know, when people didn't accept Goseiger very well, it just, you know, the collecting cards disappeared. Which I'll reiterate, I do like the idea of the collecting card gimmick in Super Sentai. I just think that debuting it at the same time that you had swapping hats was a bad combination, because you had two gimmicks going at the same time, which was confusing. Not overwhelmingly confusing for collectors, let alone kids, but just too many things at once. And we were still getting over the fact that we had vehicles that had animal heads on them for a second time, you know, we were still getting over that. Yep, there's the card. Victory charge. I have nothing against displaying the things in the boxes, but on the other hand, I'd like to be able to see them and pull them off the shelf on a whim and fiddle around with them for a few minutes and then put them back, or however long it is. It's a strange point that I've come to. But really, what's the alternative? I can either restack them, or I don't know, move out of my parents' house for the first time ever and I don't know. No, that's not it. How do I get you out of here? Do I just pull? Yeah, I just pull. Okay. It's a strange situation I've found myself in. And I don't know, I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Moving out is... There's multiple reasons why I haven't left. Obviously, yes, there are advantages to moving out. On the other hand, there's also, in my situation, disadvantages to moving out. So, but I'm going to keep those difficulties to myself, of course. One of the difficulties I will not be keeping to myself is the fact that I repurchased this thing. Reacquired. This is the first time I've actually paid for this thing. The first time I've ever paid for this thing. That sounds strange. Who am I kidding? The whole situation is strange. So here it is, the Gosei Mecha. I'm sorry, they're Gosei machines. They're in excellent condition, I'd like to point out. I still like the detail on Gosei Tiger's Gosei Tiger's the tractor tread assemblies. That's still nice. I do like that still. I still like the cockpit and the Madmobile pods that are on the side here. I still don't like how thin the tail is right here compared to the rest of the body. Oh, I forgot. Landing gear. Is that what it sounds like on camera? Gosei Phoenix. A, doesn't look like a Phoenix. B, doesn't really look like much of anything other than this thing attached to whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. Still don't like the fact that you can't, that Gosei Pink can't look past this support bar, whatever it is, which is also in the show, I'd like to point out. Toei, the producer of the show, was so insistent on staying close to the source material, be it the toys, that they actually put this bar here, so if you look at it in the show, you can't see the cockpit from a forward profile. You actually have to look at it from above in order to see the cockpit. What the fuck, Toei? They do that sometimes. They actually put a number of screw holes and tabs and things which you'd ordinarily find on a toy, and connection points, and not even try to hide those connection points. Speaking of hiding things, why doesn't that front landing gear fold forward? Looking at it here, it is 6 years later, it suddenly occurs to me, oh my god, I think they actually tried to turn that into a little talon foot. I never noticed that before. See, I guess that means it was worth it to get this thing again. Get this thing again. I've never done that before. Get something again. Yeah. Gosei Snake, which, again, the least offensive of them all. It looks like a train, and other than the head, well, actually it just looks like a train. It doesn't even really look like a snake, because, I mean, it doesn't really have a snake tail. I kind of wish there'd been a point that, like, flip around or something that could, maybe the connection point could have, like, pivoted, and then there'd have been a tail section which stuck out here, and then it would flip around. It would go, you know, the tail would stick out, and then it would swap around for the connection point. Maybe that's what they should have done. But, you know, it articulates like a snake and a train. Still, the only snake thus far in Super Sentai history. Thus far, as of 2017, yeah, this is still the only snake in name. Not a cobra, not a serpent, not a whatever. This is the only snake in Super Sentai ever, right here. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and chances are I am. Gosei Dragon, the parakeet monstrosity with his head, the pointed nose, or the drooping nose, which I never understood. I don't know why they did that. Oh, there's a little tiny screw right there. The neck, which does not articulate. It could have stood from, you know, extend a little bit and then have a little articulation. The tail could have extended. Well, yeah, the tail is a combination of PVC and ABS. The outer edge is PVC, but the inner structure is ABS. So whatever. And I really wish that now Power Rangers Megaforce, the worst. It was a good idea at the time. It was awkward, but it was a good idea. They did this differently, but they actually corrected it by having the neck slide into the head, slide into the torso. That was actually a good thing. That was one of the things, like, they should have done that from the start. But on the other hand, you ended up with a really stunted sword. So, with this thing on the side, which I was not too happy about. I'll still stand by my decision. Maybe I should point this out later. I still stand by my original point that the handle should have been used in some fashion. You know, flip the handle over, turn it to the side, and then you can use that to slot into the back. Use the handle for the sword, the dragon sword. God damn it, Japan. The handle for the dragon sword could be used as a hook for the Gosei Great. Missiles for feet. I still like that. I often wondered why it is that folded all the way forward like that. I don't get it. Like, It didn't even really need to fold up even that far, just a little, and that's it, was all they needed. But for whatever reason, it folds all the way forward. I don't get it. And these, the wing structure, I mean, this did not help. This does not help. Like, it's nice that it articulates there, but it articulates in the wrong spot. And this, well, this is more from transformation, and, well, I'm only planning on getting Gosei Great, so I'm not going to talk about, you know, how it interacts with the others, Gosei machines. Actually, were these 5 the only Gosei machines and it was just headers from the rest of the point on? Oh no, because of Gosei Ground. To date, I still have not seen beyond the first 2 or 3 episodes of Tesso Sentai Goseiger. I still haven't seen beyond it. Transformation time. And this was one of my big points of contention with the with Gosei Great, was how simple the transformation was. You flip the tail around, fold up the landing gear. You flip the wings around, you fold up the landing gear. You flip the head up. Parts forming, which I'm still not a fan of, still, to this day. Why didn't they do the sword in this fashion? Instead, they had it set up so the black end was this direction. To this day, I don't know why. Like, maybe for my own sanity, I'll do it this way. I don't think it blocks the hand. I'll have to double check. Oh, it might. I don't know. Eh. Or maybe I was inserting it the wrong direction. Tenso Gatai Gosei Great. At least I think that's what it says. I hesitate to say, hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you again. That's kind of how I feel, but at the same time I'm already depressed enough, so really do I need to summon that particular group again? Or song? Group, song. And before you ask, unless you have already, when I purchased this and the other item, lest you forget it's back there, at the same time I donated an additional amount of money to the American Red Cross for what was then Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund. So I did that because guilty conscience. Guilty conscience, and it's not like I will ever go down there again. Again, because in 1994 or 95, let's see. Would have been, yeah, because I entered middle school in 94. In 1994, I took a, was it a 12-state trip, I should be going this way, through most of the border states of the United States, including Texas and Florida and Louisiana, Maryland. Did we go to New York? I don't think we did. I think like at Washington, D.C., Maryland, is where we started heading northeast at that point. So I don't think I made it as far as New York. I don't remember anymore. Anyways, yeah, I did a donation. Why are there holes on the top of the head? A pair of holes on the top. Considering they flip this thing over every single chance they get, it's strange. Like, it almost makes me feel like there's a connection, like you would tab something into the top there, but I don't remember any accessory or anything like that that actually goes on the top. Oh, I wanted to check to see if this... I wanted to recheck why it is this doesn't fit like that. Well, it isn't going anywhere, which is nice. It'll turn side to side, but it doesn't pull out easily. That's actually good. I suppose for my own sanity, I might just keep the black side of the neck underneath here. Like I said, for my own sanity, in a world gone mad, I think I'll do it that way. But let us hold off on that for now, because Bizarro Week and a Half is not quite over yet. You know, just occurred to me, 6 years later, it reoccurred to me. It just occurred to me, for a show that's promoting angels, maybe this is the Evangelion side of my brain kicking in, which is always there, by the way. I never ever neglect my Evangelion brain. The Evangelion side of my brain. I wonder why it is they went with animals. Animals combined with vehicles. Not that the vehicles thing really played much part of anything. It's a strange... They kind of did the ecology theme with Goseiger, but then they decided to repeat the vehicles with an animal head with animal features thing here. It's not that Mecha in the past in Super Sentai hadn't been portrayed as having vehicles with animal-like features, or rather anthropomorphic vehicles. But, well, on the other hand, why would they, what else could they have done to portray angels? Have them be all birds? Well, it's not like they haven't done that before. Maybe they were afraid of repeating themselves. What? Ava, if that's the case, and why would they do Goseiger and then, 2 or 3 years later do this? Like, how else would you do angel mecha? I don't know, it could be humans with wing-like structures and have them be color-coded and represent fire, water, earth, air, metal, stone, ice, plasma, gravity. They could have done that. Didn't they already do the fire, water, earth, air thing with these guys? I don't remember. Well, no, it was air, ground, and water. So they kind of did it. They got the basic 3 in there. Maybe it was just... I don't know what they were thinking. I know so little about Goseiger. So little. This package actually came in last Thursday. This actually came in last Thursday, and here it is Tuesday. So I was actually sitting on this until this showed up for reasons that'll become apparent. The opening theme for Tenso Sentai Goseiger was not bad either. I did like it. I don't remember what the lyrics mean, but I do like the melody. Whoa, hello. I saw my name. Hello, Ava Unit 4A San. Actually, I go by a different name on eBay, so whatever. Thank you for your purchase. I was happy. I'm hoping you're going to love this toy. Take care of your health. Take care of your health not to catch a cold. Have a lovely day, Hiroyuki. Thank you, sir. Actually, I might save that note. Stick it in the box. I should mention, these two items actually come from two different locations on the globe. This one came from Japan. This one came from New York. Well, technically they both came from Japan, but when I ordered them, this was already across the pond. The Skick Brothers, round 2. If you follow me on collectiondx.com, and you'd be forgiven for knowing that I haven't posted there for quite some time. Oh God, what am I being interrupted for now? Yep. Well, at least he knocked instead of yelling my name up the stairs. Living with parents. So anyways, this again. I say again because if you follow me on collectiondx.com, am I repeating myself here? I can't remember 3 minutes ago. I had this. This is the only one of the Gosei brother sets I ever got. It's the only one I ever wanted. I briefly considered the Mystic Brothers, Roadrunner and Togepi, and it just forms a thing on the side. I'm under the impression they didn't give their accessory mecha very much thought, because like having this stuck on one side and then to have something stuck on the other side would have been nice. Instead it was just the one accessory on the one side and that was it. The whole rest of the series is dominated by these things, and what the fuck are these things, So, but I kind of felt that no way am I just going to get this and leave it at that. When, I also got satisfaction out of this. I was not bothered with these. Mint and sealed box. I forgot about that. No, I will not be getting the 10 soder. If I'm just getting these 2 cards. I'm not going to bother getting, $80, $90, $100, whatever it is in the aftermarket to get one of those things just for 2 cards. I don't need it. I still like the idea of the card reading program. Just when you fold down the Terra header and the Crow header, make certain you don't get your finger stuck in the neck, because that's where the landing gear, if you can call it landing strut, I guess, folds in. So that's the warning. I can understand having red on it, but if that's really a Crow, that was a problem in, was it 2008? 2000, yeah, it would have been 2008. The beak never completely seals itself shut. It always pops open a little bit. So it's nice to see it wasn't just that one example that I had all those years ago. It's actually a common thing. I guess it's just due to the friction in the joint, which, maybe this is a raven. Ravens are more dignified. We actually have both. We have ravens and crows here. They sound different. They're about the same size bird. Raven is slightly larger. It's a little more dignified looking bird. Not arrogant, just dignified. Anyways, as I was going to say, if this is a crow, why isn't it black? I'm not trying to make any racial jokes. Just crow. The bird, the crow, is black, or midnight blue if you must. I don't know. So, if you want to be so screen accurate, why is this white? I can understand all 3 of them having red and white on them, but why didn't this have black on it? They even went so far as to paint the beak silver, which, it could have been a dark gray. Maybe they could have had like a white stripe running around the side here, and then that would have been, or I don't know. Maybe a white stripe, like was it a domino mask type stripe of white going across the eyes. Maybe they could have done that. But they decided to go that way. Maybe it was because the Skick and Landic brothers already had enough black on them, like they tried to liven it up somehow. That's what if I had to take a guess. I probably said it when I originally had these, but the other problem I have with these is they fall over very easily. because they're on tripods, but they're very narrow. Crow header had the same problem. You know, instead of just being the head and neck, they could have just included maybe a little wing structure or something that sticks down to either side. Maybe they could have included that instead of the rocket engine tail fin thingy they were going for. You know, they could have done that. You know, considering how big this head is, I can only imagine, and how big the Gosei Dragon is, I can only imagine how big these mecha would have, well, actually they probably would have been about that big, so, you know, why am I hoping for anything different than what they actually did? God damn it, take a look at Gosei Phoenix, how they fucked that thing up. They couldn't even put a tail on the thing. What is up with that? You don't think I have to read the instructions for this one, do you? Nah. Taka header. I believe Taka means falcon or hawk. I can't remember if this is a hawk or... Oh, I think it's a hawk. Whatever. The size of the head, this is actually one of the bigger of the headers. You know, like the actual heads. This is one of the bigger ones. Imagine the size of this motherfucker. Whew. You know, maybe I should stick this thing on the Gosei Dragon. What do you think of that one? Make a proper Gosei Phoenix. Blah. Whatever. Okay. The only thing I don't remember is which one goes on which side. Crow on the left, or Crow on the right, Terra on the left. I could understand them doing a different version of each, of the beak opening on each one. There's that. But this one's just so weak. The friction isn't good enough to actually keep the beak closed. So when you push down on this, it's so much easier to just open up what's currently there and just call it good. You can't really do that with either one. You just push down on that, and I love the fact that it's got a retro futurism laser gun coming out of there. That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, as opposed to this thing, which is just, well, maybe that's a 1940s ray gun. You know, had a ball on the end, and then there were some discs right behind it. Maybe that's what they're trying to go for here. Maybe it's a maser gun. Oh, here's my favorite part of the transformation. Pull down the ears, flip the head around, stick this on, push the button in the back, pwah! And there you have Skick Gosei Great. The head is pretty big. It's bigger than I remember. Things always look different as you get older. I should be saying that with a bit of irony in my voice, by the way. One thing I didn't get, still don't get, why is it that, and in the show, they go out of their way to point this out. In the show, the face is actually a panel that flips around 180 degrees. It doesn't fold down, it doesn't flip out from here, it's just a panel that just goes, and that's it. They go out of their way to point it out in the show, but then they completely neglect it by just, boom, there it is. Why did they do that? So there's Skick Gosei Great. Here's a question for you. The head's all tilt upwards. I wonder why it is they didn't put the irony of this transformation is that this panel flips forward for a looking down motion. What they should have done is had it flip backwards so that the different headers that they attached could be pulled backwards, especially for this flying mode here. Call it what you will, I can't remember what this is. For this flying mode, I mean, I can understand having the Skick Brother heads pointed upwards, but why don't you have the face pointed upwards? Well, Ava, isn't it obvious they're looking through the eyes of the headers? Silly boy. Tricks are for kids. You don't need to have a trick of having the head point backwards when you're already seeing out of the head. Duh. So Ava, are you satisfied? There's a jet going by. Wonderful. I'm not as upset as I was. Gosh, how long ago was this? Well, it would have been 2008. Yay, Boeing! Woohoo! I've mentioned a number of times I live near Everett, Washington, and Boeing has their wide-body aircraft manufacturing facility just outside of Everett, on Payne Field, and the aircraft that they're manufacturing, which is the 767, the 777, the 747, and I think they're doing the 787 here as well. Well, maybe not the 87. I think they're manufacturing that in one of the southeastern states, which is stupid in my opinion. Anyways, when they test fly the aircraft for the first time after they've been manufactured, our house is right above one of the flight paths that you regularly use. After a while, you just get used to it. I don't even hear them anymore, except when they get really, really low, like that one. What was I saying? Oh, right, regrets. Aside from the money I've invested, which was over $100. This is as far as I'm going, so do I regret getting rid of it the first time around? No. Because I was in a frenzy at the time. I was upset, as many other Super Sentai fans, at least the English-speaking ones. I have no idea what the Japanese-speaking ones say, usually. I was furious, still am, at Bandai Toei Plex for the simplicity of the design. There's barely any transformation involved here. The only one that really transforms is Gosei Snake, and you can't really call what Gosei Dragon goes through. You can't really call that a transformation because it's just part swapping. In my opinion, part swapping has never ever been legitimate transformation. And if you point Tokume Sentai Go Buster at me, the individual parts had maybe one or two steps you transform, but the vast majority of them were all part swapping. Vast majority. Buster Hercules, Hercules Buster notwithstanding, of course. There was actual transformation involved, and that's why I got only that. So I'm still not happy with the direction that Bandai Plex and even Toei have gone. Is it Toei or Toei? Maybe I've been saying it wrong all these years. I'm still upset with them. But having given it some thought and had, how long? This is 2007 to 2008, so 9 years. Holy shit, I originally had this 9 years ago. What is wrong with me? Having had 9 years to think about it, does not feel like 9 years. Oh my god. Tempest Fugit. Having had 9 years to think about it, do I regret selling it? At the time, no, I didn't regret selling it. I was grateful to be rid of it. And what came out the following year, which would have been Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger, was just enough in the right direction. Like, yeah, they were simple transformations, but it was the fact that they were homages from different series coming in, which was an amazing thing. That was really, really great what they did. Again, I'll say it again. I did not like the pirate theme, but the rest of it was good. The rest of what they were offering up was good. Also, that final combined form, what was it, Kansei Gokaio? Whatever with Mako-kan and and Gal Lion. I hated those. I still hate those. I'm very satisfied with what I've currently got. But in the 9 years since this came out, they haven't necessarily gotten simpler and simpler and simpler, but they haven't really gotten worse and worse. I said it at the time that in that 23 minute long rant that I had, they were so simple, so non-transformationist. Transformationist? Is that a new word? It is now. The transformations were so simple. Just, I mean, illustrated perfectly. And again, header gimmick notwithstanding. Vehicle mode, combined mode. Done. Even if you don't count the head coming off. That's it. You've got these kind of slanted wings, and you should have had, I don't know, feathery wings, not feathery wings, but you should have had ailerons, tail fins, something, vertical, diagonal stabilizer, whatever. You should have had something stick out here as opposed to what they currently have. Landing gear, I don't associate with a transformation. So that doesn't count. And the header thing doesn't count. That being said, done. There's your transformation. Vehicle, combined form. That's it. You know, Ava, the pterodactyl dinosaur, the triceratops dinosaur, you just fold the tail, fold the head. You know, I don't hear you bitching about that. And, you know, don't use nostalgia as an excuse. Well, with Super Sentai, it's kind of a given. And even, I didn't think about that. Oh, shit. Maybe I should put my money where my mouth is and not tip St. Kaiser over the edge. Oh, shit. Oh, there goes another one. I want to talk about simple transformations. You've got, let's see, which one was it? And I'll say it again, this is the pinnacle of Super Sentai transformations. Kaiser, St. Kaiser, Trevelyan. And those three, not so much, but this definitely is the pinnacle. It's gotten no better than this, no more complicated than this. That being said, here I have half of Magic Mermaid. Fold up the head, you don't even fold that around. Fold that around and fold that around. That's still, you know, that's still 2 or 3 steps. So even the pinnacle of Super Sentai transformations had a simple transformation. Magi Fairy, you just kind of bend her over, you flip the wings around, and that's it. So even that had a simple transformation. So it is a given. It is a given with the franchise, across the franchise, from 1979 until 2017 with Uchu Sentai Q Ranger. There are bound, it is standard that there's going to be some simple transformations. It is going to happen no matter what. That includes the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord, Daijujin. There are simple transformations everywhere. And the Power Ranger, the Power Ranger Megazords, you know, and those that are associated with Power Rangers, please don't. They also have simple transformations. Before Power Rangers, 1991 to 1979, that gap in there, they also had simple transformations. What am I talking about? The Battle Fever Robo didn't transform at all. It got stuck inside the Battle Shark, and actually it was the Battle Shark that had all the accessories. It didn't transform, but it did split in half, and it was a cargo. Anyways, so a simple transformation goes with, you have to put up with it, or else you're not a Super Sentai fan. It's a given that there is going to be a simple transformation involved, okay? This may be the pinnacle of complex transformation when it comes to Super Sentai, but this is one of many examples, both before and after Goseiger, that had a simple transformation for joints and part swapping and what have you. I want to say technically Magi Mermaid is a parts former, but it also offsets that by actually moving parts around, you know. Well, hey, Gosei Dragon has parts to move around. Gosei Dragon has one step that you actually transform the head, and that's it. Remember that thing I said earlier about running out of space? This is a prime example. On the other hand, this is on display in such a way it's not meant to be easily pulled out either. So there's some give and take with that statement. When I got this, I was grasping at straws when I said, you know, it can't get any more simple for transformation than this. Not just the appearance of the animals, but how they transform and what it ultimately looks like. I said, it cannot possibly, and like, there's no way it can get any worse in terms of simplified transformation than this. The only way you can do it is if you had a solid chunk of plastic that doesn't move in any way, shape, or form. In 2016, I ended up eating crow, because this motherfucker came along and blew away any expectation that I had. Any expectation. Again, ends justify the means in terms of me getting, I almost said Gosei King, which is totally wrong, Juo King. No. Yeah, Juo King. The ends justify the means. I got this specifically and only because it made Wild Juo King, and then because it made Wild Tosai King. That's the only justification that I have for getting this. It's the only justification I have for getting Tosai Juo. The only justification is because I wanted Wild Tosai King. That was it. And I went no farther. Genuinely, I went no farther than that. Well, I changed my mind. Well, it's been only 1 year, so I don't see myself changing my mind. But one of the justifications for me purchasing this, for me acquiring this a second time, and keep in mind, I hated the idea of owning this the first time around in 2008. I hated this thing. I didn't want to touch it. It was Josh who came to me and said, "Hey, can you review these things?" And I'm like, "Oh, God." Initially, I turned him down. I said, "No, I'm not going to touch those things." And he said, "Please, can you please review it?" And I said, "All right, I'll do it." All right, fine, send them to me. Send them to me. For you eagle-eyed viewers, I actually posted a complaint in there. I was like, you know, I need to put off what I'm currently reviewing. Oh, it might have been the original Deluxe Power Zords, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 Mega Zords. I might have been in the middle of reviewing those when I got called to review this. I think that it was either that, or I had recently acquired the Lightspeed Zords secondhand. It's one of those two. But anyways, at the time, or maybe it was the Zeo Zords. I don't remember anymore. But anyways, I was called up to review them, and like I hated it. I hated it. But one of the justifications now, and on August 29th when I actually purchased these things, one of the justifications, one of the reasons I got it, is because once you've reached this point, it makes this look pale in comparison. It's ironic I'm saying this 9 years later. Or 8 years later. 9 years later. It's ironic that I'm saying 9 years later that this is not the simplest that Bandai, Toei, and Plex could possibly do. And I look at this and I just say, what the fuck? Really? I just... Now, I've calmed down in the years since I got this, so whatever, but still, like, Jewel King, I'm still not happy about it. The whole line in particular, I'm not thrilled. But I look at this, and then I look at this, which in my mind was the pinnacle of simple transformations at the time, and for the 9 succeeding years. This was the pinnacle of stupidly simple transformations. But then I look at this, and it's like, is it really that bad? No. It's a good toy. It's actually a solid toy. For kids, this is not a bad toy. And that's actually something that I didn't say back in 2008. Well, it would have been 2008 when I got this, or 2009-ish. The words never came out of my mouth. Objectively, I never said, this is a good toy for kids. If I remember correctly, I never said it was a good toy for kids. Those words never came out of my mouth, because I was just hating on the legacy of Super Sentai Robos leading up to this point. And I couldn't get my mind away from that. And I spent 23 minutes saying it, however long in this unboxing now. But when you look at this, then, you know, this doesn't seem so bad. And I think that finally clicked for me 2.5 weeks ago, however long ago. I think that finally clicked in my brain. This was not a bad toy. The toy line and the way it operates, that's bad. It was badly executed. Gosei Ultimate transforms, ironically, but it looks terrible. I actually debated getting it, but then I remembered how it is. You just slap the thing on the back and that's it. You can't even get Gosei Great to stand on top of Gosei Ultimate. You can't do it with the toys. The only way you can combine them is to slap it on the back. No, that's not how it works. No, thank you. So, no, I'm not getting Gosei Ultimate. 9 years later, yeah, I've changed my mind. I've decided I got this Gosei Ultimate because when I reach this point, you know, it really doesn't make the Gosei Ultimate look all that bad. I don't see myself getting Gosei Ultimate anytime soon. At least not in the next 9 years. Is this a good toy? Is this a good toy? Arguably, yes. It's simple, but it's not bad. It irks me for personal reasons, but it's hard to turn down that this is a Super Sentai toy. I'm sorry, it's a Super Sentai mecha, and it does many, not all, but it does many of the things that I like about Super Sentai combining Robos. It combines, they're multicolored. There's some fashion choices that are questionable, but it's not outright bleh. Because I say that when I'm looking at this, mind you. It's not so, like, and also, considering that, like Jewel King, like Shurikenjin, like Buster Hercules, I have not committed myself to getting the entire Transforming Mecha series. The same thing will be true of Skick Gosei Great. I'm going no farther than this. Well, except for this, which I still love this thing. This, like, true to my word, I kept this and I still love this. Matter of fact, the batteries that are in here are the exact same batteries that I put in 9 years ago. Wow, there's a statement to stand by. I wonder what kind of brand battery they're in here. It's probably Japanese. But I still like this. Now, I liked and like this because it was disconnected visually and functionally from the rest of the Goseiger line. Yes, it had... Oh, fuck that noise. Actually, I could put those in the box now. It is connected to the Goseiger line only in regards to, only in regards to how it attaches to the headers. But, actually I could just turn it off. But I like this little extra bit pops up because it's a special mode, much like the Gamma gun that I unboxed a couple of days ago. And it also has a little sight you can look at. You can actually look through it and see the targeting reticule. And it makes different noises. It responds. Which reminds me, it's been 9 years since I've heard this sound effect, because the Gosei Blaster doesn't come with a Landic header. It only comes with a Skick and Skick headers. It doesn't come with a Landic header. Oh, I like that. Rest in peace, headphone users. Like that. And then pulling the trigger. I wonder if anything happens if you hold down the trigger. Probably not, because it didn't have enough space in it. Yeah, you hold down the trigger, it doesn't do anything. And I also like how the light was done on the inside here. Yeah, I wish the light was repeated on this side, but I did a review of this already, so shut up. So in my mind, aside from the interaction with the headers, the fact that you could take something and plug it on, have this fold open, you had easy access to the trigger, that was neat, and that it looks absolutely nothing like anything. Like, if you want to talk about Angel Rangers, this is nowhere near what you would associate with Angels. It's steampunk or retrofuturism, and I said it at the time. And I still believe that. It's very steampunkish looking thing, and I still recommend getting this thing. It's small, simple, makes a cute little noise after you turn it on. It's just pew, 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 and that's it. So I still love the Gosei Blaster, and I promote it all the time. That's why I kept it, because I could see beyond its position in the Goseiger lineup. I could see beyond it, and I appreciated it just by itself. Right. This, on the other hand, I was just so wrapped up in it. So, oh, speaking of simple transformations, the current Robo, these are separated by 9 years time difference, by the way. This also has a simple transformation on it. Now, to be fair, Q-Ranger hides its simple transformation very well with the fact that the Scramble City, the Scramble Gate happens, and technically not a transformation, but the, oh gosh, what are these called? The Q-Tamas, you know, mix things up a little bit. The Q-Tamas are, in their own way, a style decision as well. So, I guess it took me, alright, I'll get it, just because, to, doggone it, I don't like the fact that it's simple transformations, but doggone it looks pretty enough, I'll get them. To reconsidering getting this. I guess it took 9 years for me to get over myself, I suppose. Somebody pointed out that they were tired of that on one of my CDX reviews. I don't remember which one. They pointed out that I'd been on my high. I had lost them as a subscription because I was sitting on my high horse about, the evolution of Super Sentai Transformers. They're too simple. They don't transform enough. They look like blocks of plastic, and they were just generally tired of me going on and on and on. I'm not eating crow, and I'm not saying, but it is possible I was wrong. In some ways, yes, I was wrong. I'm not going to apologize for the way I acted previously, but just time has kind of healed this particular wound. So, I think I wasted a bit more time this time around explaining. I think I've articulated a little better my feelings about not only then, but why I would go for it a second time. I'm not even going to say that it's an attempt at being perfect. Even for angels, they're not perfect. But I'm not as offended by it as I used to be. Because like I said, Juo King kind of took that crown. So, I think that's it. I think I'm done. So, I would call Bizarre week and a half very successful. What else can I say? I think I've said enough at this point. My throat is dry, and I'm getting hungry, and I must feed the fat. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your commentaries. Thank you for your comments. I do appreciate those comments. Ava, are you going to review this thing for Collection DX at some point? Ava, how much does it cost? Where'd you get it from? It must be 5- and 6-year-olds who ask those kinds of questions. This is Ava Unit 4A saying, thank you for tuning in.